All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another issue of Jay and Bax's Expensive Paper. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We've got another special guest with us. His name is CK. He's a very talented artist. And we're excited to hear more about his story and look at some awesome artwork. So make sure to stay tuned. Okay, we're going to bring in CK. Hey, CK, welcome to the show. We're so happy to have
Hey,
you.
you thank you very much for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for joining, man. Been excited about this episode for a while now. I think I met you during Free Comic Book Day at the Source. I don't remember if it was this year or the year before, and I just had to get some of your art. It's so good. And we'll showcase some of it as we go along. But having said that, let's just jump right in. Tell us a little about yourself and some of your origin story, if you will.
Oh, absolutely. So, once again, yeah, it was awesome to meet you at Free Comic Book Day. Yeah, so I'm a local artist. Was born here in Minnesota. My family is from the Caribbean, a place called Trinidad and Tobago. It's been making a lot of news lately, not for the best things, I would say, but yeah, I grew up down there from about age 5 till I'd say 15 is when I finally moved back to Minnesota and just been kind of pursuing a life of art on this sort of endless journey that I found myself into, and really no true end goal, I would say.
Nice. Yeah, that's the way to live life. Just go with the flow, I think. Um, when did you start, I guess, your journey into art? What was it that brought you in?
So I would say I've always enjoyed just drawing what I see. Growing up, what my grandma showed me that I was too young to really remember any of these things. A lot of like Mickey Mouse drawings, things that I would see in storybooks. Um, and then I noticed, hey, I could kind of do that. Let me just sort of see what else I can do with this stuff. So I started trying really my best to come up with my own ideas, as many sort of creative types tend to do, and sort of see where it would lead me.
Yeah, for sure. It's it's always so interesting just hearing those origin stories and I always love when uh it's like a grandparent that's like the driving force behind that stuff. Just having that uh just the generational um pull, into something is really beautiful, I think. Um so I noticed some of your stuff, you like to use a different type of medium that I think a lot of artists like to use, and that's it's grocery bags, right? Like paper grocery bags.
Yeah, yes, I just kind of
Yeah,
stumbled
Jay.
across using that. Yep, yep. Jay's got it. That's so awesome. And that just fact about that. That is my pretty much my first and only ever drawing of Doctor Doom, and I'm happy it's in such great hands. But yeah, I started drawing on grocery bags on accident back, I'd say, in 2018, just due to some friends that sent me um, these markers, these Uhuru markers, and some pens, and I was like, oh man, I'm so poor. I don't want to use my expensive, really um 8 by 11 computer paper that's so costly, quote unquote. So let me practice on these grocery bags, and it has kind of led to people being just very taken off guard when they hear about that stuff.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's so ingenious. It's something that if people interact with it every day, and so it's the least likely place where you'd expect to find beautiful art. So I think it's just so cool. And Jay, I know that you were holding up that Doctor Doom. Um, and I think, didn't you get that recently, Jay? Did you get
Yeah,
that from, where
I
did you get
got
that
this
from
at
again?
I got this at Twin Cities Con. So
That's
if
right.
you've seen one of our previous podcasts, you saw that I showed this. It still didn't have a frame, but
It's gonna highlight you.
you
Hold
know,
on.
it's
Yeah, sorry, we're gonna play some musical chairs. There we go.
um when I first met CK at that free comic book day, I bought some prints and I was intrigued by the art because it's such a cool and unique style. It's not like something you see every day in, comic books or anything like that. And the fact that he was using these creative outlets, brown paperbacks, I thought was pretty creative. So not to be redundancy, department of redundancy, but it just shows another side of creativity, right? Like, hey, I need to practice, I need to do these things, I need to get creative. What do I do? Grab one of the first things in front of me, most common things, which is brown paper grocery bag, and make something out of nothing. So I think that's another creative side that shows that you're still creative. So I think that's great, and I still want that magic. I just need to recover from some Christmas spending. But that magic that you had on IG is going to be mine someday.
Well, she is still available, so I definitely can see that happening in your future for sure. But no, thank you. There's something magical about, no pun intended, drawing on those things and then really explaining the other side of it, which is it's really helped in confidence with my inking more than anything else, due to the feedback that the bag gives my hands when I'm actually making those
Mhm.
ink lines. Because the bag absorbs the ink a little bit more, I have to kind of go over it a few more times, especially with the smaller, like 0.3 points and such. So there's no going back after making the first line. So I've learned that you can be even more confident so that when I swap over to, let's say, better paper, that confidence is there to make those ink lines and not have to second guess myself and worry about anything like that. Because, um, there is no undo button to help you out.
Yeah, and unlike other artists, you don't do pencils first and then do the inking. You jump straight right into inking, correct?
Actually, it depends on the piece. Um, a lot of the times it's 50-50. I do enjoy penciling, but I have a very light, because I use those mechanical pencils. So they are very, very light on the grocery bag because, again, the texture of the paper and such adjusts that. But yeah, it really depends. If I'm familiar with the character, like if it's one of mine's, then more than likely I won't do a pencil first. But I do little sketches on my tiny like notepads that I have just to give myself an idea of like, oh, what kind of pose am I trying to do with this piece first and foremost, and then just build off of that.
Cool. Makes
Yeah.
that makes sense. Um, and can you walk us through the process of creating a piece? Like, where do you find inspiration, and how do you put something that was in your mind into paper and into a physical medium?
Oh, of course. So um a normal process for me would, let's just say, like dealing with a client on like a commission, let's just say, one of it is, hey, okay, so those same sort of little notepads that I have, I actually put my characters into a box and I go, okay, how is the character trying to break out of this containment that I've put them in? How dynamic are they going to be to almost have a three-dimensional look to it? I started doing this because Akira Toriyama, rest in peace, a lot of his Dragon Ball Z covers were of his characters sort of breaking out of their confinement spaces where the backgrounds were smaller, and then the characters were outside of those, and it had this really cool depth to it. So I tried to mimic that sort of same feel with those frames. or those that sort of frame that the character is in, and then maybe having just like a body part or part of their equipment, sort of breaking that bounds a little bit more. So it gives it that cool sort of look that I enjoy very much so. Then once I figure that out with the sketches, I start with the pencils. Do a very rough sketch just to make sure I have the poses right, the perspectives and such. And then is really the fun part where I start with the inking. So I start with a very small fine point ink brush, like a 0.3, and I just do a nice outline first of everything. Then the therapy kicks in. And I call it therapy because the inking is just me sitting there mindlessly doing this stuff. And I use mindlessly very, very loosely because I know where I want lights and darks to be and such. But there is a style to the inking process itself. If you look at some of my pieces, it's based off of 5 strokes, then built off of another set of 5, where it sort of begins very dark and thick and then slowly goes into a smaller, thinner stroke where it almost becomes like invisible. So it gives it that sort of shading slash gradient taper off type of look. Um, and then, yeah, once that's all done, there's 2 options here. I can kind of call it quits there and sort of just bring it into Photoshop and clean it up a bit. Or my new addiction now is, now that I have finally been I've been working on a tablet finally after all this time. I got one where I can actually look at the pieces. I zoom in very, very close and I started adding extra detail that unfortunately when you print out stuff, you can't see it. So I've been learning to control myself a bit more on those sort of tendencies, I would say. But that's pretty much how a normal piece would end up going.
Awesome. And we have some stuff to share. Should we hop into that next?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Let's check out your work here. All right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I can give you descriptions on these if you'd like. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, walk us through if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. So this Hulk piece was actually someone back at 2D Con that was very adamant about getting a Hulk piece, and um, they reached out and was like, "Hey, I would love it if you could do something in your style." So this was the response to that. I had also been watching some YouTube videos about the Planet Hulk series and was just very intrigued about that version of the Hulk. Um, and so I decided for this piece, this is sort of, if you know anything about the story, this is the moment where he kind of realizes that he was quote unquote betrayed, spoilers, by the the folks back home on Earth and such. And so this is him just kind of turning to the camera as this massive explosion is happening behind him. And he's like, I'm getting ready to go back to Earth and deal some with these problems here.
Nice.
How do you, I mean, of course, some of it is practice, but how do you get from, being a beginner to something like this? And what I mean is, trying to get the dimensions right, because clearly you can see this is the Hulk, but if you put him next to Magic, the dimensions are very different, right? The muscles, the size of the hands, um, the chest, like what does it take for you to actually be able to draw a form like this, if it makes sense?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. So a lot of it, I guess the cliche answer, yes, is practice, but I would also say it's just knowing, like, what do I want the character to showcase? Like, what are the characteristics of the character that people can see that really speaks about the character themselves? So Hulk is known to be like, a bigger guy, brutish, and things like that. And you give him that sort of like very I wouldn't say like he's not angry all the time, but I guess one could say that. And he has that sort of impending feel and presence about himself. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to aim for with that, is just, hey, there's some stereotypical things we do in comics where to make a character look even better, we'll make just kind of show the size of the character. We'll make the head smaller while the body is huge. When, if you kind of want to really showcase the muscles and things like that. But for me, I'll tell you, a lot of these things are taking a shape and then putting the character in that shape to get some really cool looking perspectives and look on it. So if I think it looks cool in my head, then I'm like, all right, I have bended, quote unquote, the rules, but I have not broken the rules of sort of form and shape. So
hmm Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I like the composition of this piece a lot. The other thing I wanted to point out was your use of white. I th- I really like what you did with using that white to emphasize the fist, and then just like the outer frame. Um, it, I'm just curious, like how hard, because it's such a stark contrasting color, it can go wrong quick. I would imagine if you use too much white in a piece. It may be up completely wrong. Do you want to talk more? Do you want to talk more about that and just like your choice of how you used white here? Because it's not something it's commonly seen in artwork, at least from the majority of stuff that I've seen.
oh, of course. So with this, there's two reasons why I use the white here. One was to separate the Hulk, the subject, from the background. Um, so by doing the white outline, it also sort of gives it that look as like there's backlighting coming and hitting him and coming over and sort of making that silhouette, as normally when you shine light behind an object, it will give that look. The one with the hand is primarily to separate the outline of the hand from his chest, as it was a lot darker in that area. I wanted to just give some, you can see the reflectiveness of the light, because his hand is up just a little bit, where some light would kind of come over in that direction as well. But that primarily was to just get the hand away from the dark spots that are there, so you can see and differentiate a hand versus, say, his pectoral muscle.
hmm Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. And you talked about getting the tablet and being able to zoom in and do more detail, having to, kind of control yourself to not go in too crazy, we'll call it that, with the details that are not going to come out on print or in a regular size drawing. Is it the same with foreground and background? Because, there's a lot going on behind him, but it's not overpowering where it takes over the piece in the foreground where he is at.
Yeah, so I'm going to showcase one of my many weaknesses for you. I am horrible when it comes to backgrounds. So I try to make them as simplistic yet interesting-ish as best as I can. So a lot of the times, yeah, I'll just kind of that's where my graphic design kind of comes into play, as you try to find something stylistic with the colors, the shapes, and at least the all-round feel of the piece. So it's there, but it doesn't overpower the character itself, because it's kept in a very simple look, and just it's more about shapes at that point. Like, can you kind of figure out what's going on? Does it look nice and complement the subject matter at the end of the day?
Makes sense.
All right, let's check out this next one here. I'm not familiar if this is a character. So maybe let's start there. Uh, is this from a particular series, or uh, yeah? Do you want to talk about this?
Oh, for sure. So this is Blythe from the Elden Ring series.
I've
I
not played that.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I'm only 8 hours in. It's
Okay.
just because I spend more time drawing, but I wanted to be your Elden Ring guy for art when it came out, because I knew that it was going to be like a pretty big hit, and so I started drawing uh, couple of the main lady characters that everybody really enjoyed, which was Ronnie and Melania. So just like everything else, they were drawn on grocery bags first. So Blythe is the fifth one in series one. So it was just going to be basically 5 images in there. So this is my sort of take on him there. I am anthropomorphic characters are very tough for me. It's not something I've drawn a lot. And so this one, I wanted to spend a lot of extra time really getting that right and showcasing it as best I can. I really wanted to do the character justice at the end of the day. So this was sort of my take on it. And it's been really well received, especially with folks who don't even know of this series, which is great. So that, shows, hey, a piece can also appeal to people who have no idea, but they just really like what they see.
Yeah, and that would be me. You did a fantastic job on this. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
and I've played Elden Ring, but I'm not very good at it, so I quit after about probably 8 hours because boy, is that game hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you very much. No, that means a lot.
Let's
Oh,
get dangerous.
let's get dangerous. The classic 𝙧𝙖𝙯𝙤𝙧. Very cool. Yeah, I like how warm this picture is. I mean, it's warm, but it's cool at the same time. It's got a nice blend in there. Yeah, that's great. What do you want to say about this piece?
So with this one, this was actually a challenge by someone at a show. They had come by my booth and noticed that I was the only person with a Gizmo Duck drawing. And they were just so captivated by that. They're like, hey, awesome Gizmo Duck drawing. And then they just left. And I'm like, okay, thank you. And then he comes back and he's like, do you do commissions? I said, yes. He's like, okay, here you go. I challenge you to do a commission for me of Darkwing Duck. And he hands me a blank sketch cover orange Darkwing Duck comic book. And so here I am looking at this orange piece and I'm like, man, I have never worked on an orange sketch cover before. This will be fun. So we, I said, do you want just one? He's like, just go nuts, do whatever you'd like. So this was sort of my take on it. It had been forever since I drew Darkwing. It was something that I knew was coming down the pipeline, but this guy just kind of, pushed it a lot sooner, which was just fine because I really enjoyed the challenge in that. So here was a perfect opportunity to sort of do my take on Darkwing, fighting Megavolt, because that's what he wanted ultimately, and just to kind of see how I can get it done well with the orange going into it and such. So I had a really good time, and the really cool part of it was after he got it, and he was just over the moon about it. I had not heard from him for about 4 months. And then I get a message, and it's a video, and it is the voice actor for Darkwing holding up the book, signed, and saying, hey, fantastic job on this piece. This is awesome. Thank you so much. I'm like, holy crap, that's awesome. So, Brendan, if you're out there and watching this, he's a great guy. I'm super thankful that he did that for me, and it's just an honor to have this be shown to the folks there and such. So.
That is so cool.
What a cool story. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes sense that this would be an orange cover because I was going to say that somehow the colors are bright yet still look a bit more muted than the previous
Yeah.
pieces.
That's
that
what
makes
called out to me
perfect
like
sense.
right away. Yep. Yeah, it does. That's really cool.
And I really like how the hat is in front and behind the Darkwing. I think that really gives it that depth, and just makes it look, like it's actually in motion, which I think, well, I know for me is really hard to do because I never learned how to draw. But that's besides the point.
Yeah, no, thank you on that. Yeah, that's exactly kind of what I was going for. It's just that little, breaking the mold a little bit to give it that cool sort of dimensional and dynamic look. And I think for me, that's always the fun part. It's like, what am I gonna mess with now?
Awesome.
So cool.
Oh, here we go. This is
Pika
awesome.
pika.
Pika Pika. Speaking about commissions, I'm like, I might want you to do a commission for me uh, around Pokemon. But this, I love this. This is awesome. Um, it's just let you talk about it, but it just makes me happy looking at it. So, what do you got to say about this one?
Yeah. Um, so I wanted to sort of start doing a series of these, and I figured who better than these the original three casts of the show and such. And so I started working originally on Brock first. So I was just kind of messing around with him, yeah. And I there was a meme where it's like something about mudkips, like, do you have a mudkip or something? I can't exactly remember what it was, but that's kind of what I was aiming for with this, and sort of putting it into my style at the end of the day. And to a certain degree, kind of, I wouldn't say aging them up, but because my style is so rigid and angular
Mm.
at times, it really does make the characters look a little bit older and to some degree a little bit meaner, I guess. But shout out to that one kid that said, "Hey man, your Superman looks too angry." I'm like, "Oh, I got you, I got you." Um, yeah, so I originally did Brock, and then I was like, okay, how can I sort of make one awesome piece? And then had the thought of sort of putting Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all in the background of all three of these images. So Brock is on the left, then Ash is in the center, and Misty goes on the right. Her back foot is in Ash's frame on the bottom right hand corner, so you can see it down there. Yeah, so that's how they all just sort of collect in there, and it's been a really cool piece. It has definitely caught people's attention, and I just wanted to add a little bit playfulness because Psyduck is great. I got a friend who she absolutely loves Psyduck. She calls him Jeffrey, her son, and so I was just like, yeah, let's put him in there because why not? And so it's been really nice. While I won't say I cater to kids at shows, it's nice having pieces for them, and people, the nostalgia hit as well with these for folks that absolutely love Pokemon. Man, it's something that I don't think is ever gonna lose the interest at all. So
No, I think it's here to stay. I remember growing up, the parents all calling it a fad and everything, and it never went away. They just kept it going. Um, and now the kids are grown up and they're getting their kids into it. So I'm playing it with my daughter, and it's been awesome. So
oh, that's
um,
fantastic.
yeah, yep. Yeah, I love these pieces. So do you sell these as like prints then at shows?
Yes, sir, I do. They made their debut um, this year at FallCon, or
Nice.
officially.
Okay.
So all three were finally finished by then, and yeah, you can get them in 11 by 17s or the 24 by 36 sizes if you really want something big.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
I can see the wheels turning in Bax's brain where he's gonna
Uh,
put this prints when he gets them.
I want my own. I want my own. I want to be the Pokemon trainer, and I want my favorite Pokemon out there. Or maybe
Have
do one of you, Jay, and one of me
That's actually a,
battle or
a
something.
a cool concept. Have you ever had a commission where people are like, "I want you to turn me into one of these characters"?
I have not had that, but I get a lot of people who want either their D&D characters or
Mm,
they want their Final Fantasy or sort of MMO characters that they have and things like that. So what they'll do is they'll send me like portraits or bust shots of the character in game with the armor they're wearing, and I will sort of draw those for them and whatnot. But definitely not that idea. I think that would be pretty sweet.
Well,
all right, let's do
I
it.
think we have a first. I think we have an idea now for a future commission here.
Heck yeah.
That'll get brewing once we're done with the show and backstage. Maybe we can talk about it a little bit more. But
Oh, absolutely.
hey, you guys heard it here first.
All right. Um, uh, who do we? Is this Raven? Is
Correct.
that yeah,
Yeah,
okay?
correct. Yeah,
Oof.
yeah.
And yeah, what do you have to say about this one?
So with this one, it was another just kind of diving into pieces that I wanted to showcase last year, and this is one of them. Really, again, trying to get the hang of certain things with the tablet as I had just been practicing a little bit. And it was just another one of those where I'm at shows and I get a lot of, oh man, do you have this character? Oh no, I don't. Oh, you should totally do this character. I would get it. And I know Raven and Starfire are very popular from the Teen Titans and such. So it was eventually sort of like a no-brainer once it came down to it. But again, just experimenting, have a fun time with things, and just trying to take my take on these characters as much as sort of how every other sort of popular creator has done, and just added to the repertoire of things. So
Yeah, this
Nice.
is really cool. I like the
Yeah.
cape and how it's flowing. It's almost
Yeah, so
very Spawn-esque,
yeah,
where the cape has its
exactly.
own mind, but it doesn't. So speaking about Spawn and artists, who do you think is your biggest influence when it comes to art?
so when it comes to what you kind of the main person that you would kind of see a lot with my art is Joe Madureira, and he did Battle Chasers and X-Men
Mhm.
and a lot of other sort of books back in the 90s and whatnot. I'd studied a lot of Joe's work because he successfully did what I was struggling to do back in the 90s, and that was, can we fuse Western comic style with Japanese animation? And I had started doing that way back in the 90s because of the stuff that was influenced by me. Growing up in the Caribbean, the books that I would get were sort of like they were your standard comics, but it wasn't a lot of like what I was well known here, like Spider-Man and Batman. Those were very few and far between that I would end up getting. So I was studying works from folks I had no idea who they were, doing like EMC squared and some like not Star Lord, but these very different off-brand comics that I was just looking at the style and being like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is kind of cool. But once it sort of saw when sort of anime was making its debut here in the States, I'd started studying a lot of those guys, especially the guys at Capcom, like Bengus,
Mhm.
and those dudes who their work was just very dynamic. They had a really cool grasp on muscle structure and just making characters look really, really cool. So, now it's a different way to study in today's world versus back then, where you needed to like wait for their stuff to come out in a giant book or something like that. Um, yeah, you just kind of do with what you have. But I would say those guys, and lastly, for me, the biggest dude that I have sort of I really want to kind of say thanks to him is, and he would never know it, it's Masami Obari, and he has done like the Fatal Fury series, a bunch of mech anime and such, and his work is just so awesome. It's a guy that, like, you can ask him like, I would love to see you draw this. Like, that's me geeking out at someone who like the same way people have asked me to draw things. I would love to do, like, to see him draw these stuff, because the things I have seen him draw, like Optimus Prime with Megatron, it's one of the coolest pieces that today has even yet to be sort of like quote unquote dethroned, in my humble opinion. So yeah, those guys, I absolutely love them, man. And that's kind of where a lot of my influences come from, are those folks, and the mending of the two styles amongst my I would say uh my sign, my style is the hatching and the ink work more than
Mm.
anything else. So
That's really cool.
Yeah, my Bengus books are out of reach. I can't get to them easily, but I was gonna grab them quick, and I love his work too. So it's awesome.
oh yeah,
All right. Yeah, this is a cool piece. Who is this?
Well, this
Um,
is Hornet, from the game Hollow Knight.
okay.
Silk Song, it just came out, and so this was one that I'm a big, Metroidvania fan. I love those styles
Mm.
of games, and, I, started with this character first, and then it just sort of spiraled into doing the knight from the first one, which I believe you have there as well. But yeah, I really like the character design. It's very simplistic, but you can get some very good detail because there's a lot of, like, um, blacks in the outfit that
Mhm.
you can put some grade shading on and add some depth to it. And then this one, I forgot to send you the lace, but it turned into a three-piece one due to a mom that came by my booth, and she saw the Hornet one, and she's like, "Oh man, my son would absolutely love this. And do you have any plans on doing lace for a piece?" Which is another character. It's actually Hornet's rival in the game. And I said I had no plans on doing it whatsoever. But now that I know there's demand for it, yeah, I ended up making one. And the next show on cue, she was there buying it for her son, got a chance to meet him, and he was super thankful. It's one of those humbling moments, and you're like, "Oh, yeah, this is kind of those moments why I do this stuff."
Yeah, that is so cool. Just out of curiosity, doing these shows, is that how you best kind of get your thumb on the pulse of what's in demand, or do you have a different area that that you go to kind of gauge interest in what people are looking for?
Oh, that's a great question, and it is one that, yeah, I have struggled with. I do in fact try my best to, like, keep up with the things that I enjoy. I've got a lot of friends that watch a lot of different anime that I would never begin to know about, so I try to keep up with that, but primarily, it is from the shows, kinda word of mouth things that you hear from people that are going around, and, I'll look into something. I try to make sure I watch at least 1 to 3 episodes of a show just to get a concept of how things are, so you can relate with the folks, when you're doing these things. Because it's one thing to draw a piece and know about it and be passionate to really connect with someone. There's a difference in just being like, "Hey, I'm just gonna draw this because I'm chasing the money at the end of the day," and it's definitely not what I try to do,
Right. Yeah.
with these things, because then you just burn yourself out, man. So, I try to make sure that I have some interest in it, which then leads me to interesting situations where I end up being the only person with a particular thing, which can be good and bad, I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting, and one thing that we don't get to see as attendees is the other side of the con, right? Because you're an exhibitor. So how do you decide which cons to attend to? What makes sense to you? How do you decide what to bring to a con, et cetera? If you don't mind us talking on the business side and the one that we don't have a lot of visibility.
Oh, absolutely. For me, it is something that I'm still learning. I'm only 4 years into doing cons, so that's been a lot of trial and error. Normally, I bring everything that I have at the end of the day, just because you never know what someone's going to like, and so I just try to keep X amount of a piece available as always in stock. If not, I'd gladly mail it out to you, as as easy as possible. And it has just been one of those where, because a lot of folks don't know me, I've been trying to go to any and every show that'll have me at the end of the day, especially the local shows, because, yeah, it's great being known as a local artist because a lot of people are like, "Yeah, I want to support my local artists." I've seen just how excited people are to see their fellow artists, their favorite artists at these shows and such. For me, that was just last Twin Cities Con here. I was not originally accepted because of some things that they changed around and whatnot, but they reached out and got me in there. But it was the sheer amount of people, like Jay as well, that you guys came by, taking a look at stuff, and just being, from my perspective, it seemed just very excited to see me at the show, and that's a humbling and welcoming feeling, just because that's not something for me that I get on a regular basis anymore. And so it is really, really nice to see that people are actually enjoying what I'm putting out, and they are actually very excited to see you. So those are the things that I carry in the back of my head when I'm doing this work, because people are always just very supportive, and I know I seem lame every time I post something where I'm like saying, "Hey, thank you very much for coming and doing this," because I truly do mean it, and it is something that stays with me, and so yeah, I can never say thank you enough.
That's cool, and I think that's important. But it was good to see you at Twin Cities Con, say hello, and obviously get these cool pieces that I got from you. I wanted to chat more, but I also didn't want to take you away from customers because I was super excited that you were getting a lot of traffic, and whether they bought something or not, just seeing people engaged, I think was really cool, and I was super stoked for you. So keep doing what you're doing, man, because I think it's working, and it can only get better from there.
Yeah, agreed. And it's really awesome hearing just your perspective and just being able to you know feed off that energy and use that as motivation. That's great.
Yeah, thank you, and shout outs to Noggin. Yeah, no, I come from a customer service background, and I don't like to sit behind my booth when I attend these shows. There are folks that are able to do that. Their products are so good that they can just let that speak for itself and not have to go out there. But I love engaging with people. I love talking with them. And then, that's why I'm always outside of my booth, and we're looking at this stuff together so we can talk about it. Because I just don't see you as, oh, yeah, you're just a customer. No, 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 no. You are, I hope, a friend, and kind of grow into a stronger relationship where people feel, comfortable, they're excited, and it just becomes another person that they look forward to, because when I'm at conventions, it's, hey, we're all under one umbrella here. Our love for all these things, be it comics, anime, video games, um, you know, whatever it may be, we all made an attempt to be here. And I want to make it as fun as an experience as possible. And that has always been to really, make somebody feel welcome. And I do get that a lot from folks where they say, "Hey, I came by, I was gonna say hi, but you look super busy." And yeah, I'm not aware of it, that that's kind of happening. I'm trying to like make sure I spend enough time with each person so that you feel like, hey, this person really hears me, and they appreciate me being here. But yeah, I have gotten that a lot from folks where they're like, "Yeah, I want to talk to you, but yeah, you're super busy." So I appreciate those that truly do wait to speak and catch up. So thank you. Yeah.
Any plans to attend Twin Cities Con 2026?
Yes, I would like to. I will apply like normal. Um, I think this year's the official year they're supposed to be doing a juried thing. But
Okay.
long story short, I hope to be there. Yeah.
All right. I got my ticket on Black Friday, so I'll be there.
That's awesome.
All right. And it looks like so that no more art to share here. So yeah, any other questions, Jay?
No, I think it's really cool. It's awesome to see how somebody that I met at a um, free comic book day at a store is now at such a big stage like Twin Cities Con. Super excited, and it was great that we got to share this moments and this insight. Anything else that you want to share, CK? Where can people find you? Your Instagram, etc.
Yeah, so I'll just sort of say thank you both for everything. Besides this, the fact that you saw something in me to want to, bring me on here and talk, means a lot. And it's something, again, going to carry it throughout time. The easiest place to get a hold of me, as always, is Instagram, and that's just at the art of CK, all one word. no spaces or anything. And then just want to say thanks to like my ma, especially amongst all the other folks. But my ma's one of those people that I, didn't push for this in terms of when I was growing up. This wasn't something that she was like, oh yeah, I'm going to support you as best you can. But it has kind of grown, and I think for them, my mom and dad, my dad's no longer with us, but when they had finally like sort of started coming to these shows and seeing the people around the booth and such, I think that was one of those moments where it was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is actually really neat, and I have nothing but thanks to say for so many people that give me an opportunity. And like the guys up at the source, Kelly and Dan, the guys that run MNCBA, Jen, and those friends. And then shout out to Matt, my print guy, man. He is awesome. And I just hope you guys tune in next year, because what I have already sort of planned for it, again, it's going to blow your mind. And I'm not it truly is, because it blows my mind how it works out. And it's just to keep adding value to the art, because I know how precious, as I look at you guys as backgrounds, how precious wall space is. And it's something that I'm always thinking about when I make a piece, so that, hey, when you put that up, you're getting you're getting your money's worth. So yeah, thank you very much.
It's been our absolute pleasure. We'd love to have you. Sorry, excuse me. The good old RSV I'm getting over. We'd absolutely love to have you back again someday. So,
Oh, for sure.
Well, with that, we do have a video that CK has shared with us. So we'll go ahead and play that. And then, yeah, we hope to see you all again in a future episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. And
Follow
yeah,
this man if you aren't already,
yes,
because he puts out great content. Shoot him a line. I think some of his commissions are open, and if not, he'll get you on the waiting list. But give him a follow, The Art of CK, in Instagram, and just enjoy the work he puts out, because it's fantastic.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, everyone. Well, until next time, keep flipping those pages.
We'll see you in the next issue.
What a thrill, with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. Someday you go through the rain, and someday you'll feed on a tree frog. It's ordeal, the trial to survive, for the day we see new light. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. Snake.